For Asians, and Asians everywhere, traditional Asians, especially the Chinese, and those who follow the Chinese lunar calendar, this is the 7th moon or 7th month. Okay, the first day of the moon is called a new moon day. Is the first day, that is 19th August. Then the peak is the 15th day, the full moon, that is on September 2nd. And then on the 29th day, that is the last day of this special month, is September 16. So during this period, the Chinese, or those who want to show respect to ancestors, this is the time they perform various rituals and ceremonies. But for Buddhists, we have a special way of doing it. And tonight we're going to study these two suttas, two very interesting suttas, where the Buddha describes us how we can do this properly and effectively, joyfully. Okay. There are two suttas, the Dasaka Janussoni Sutta, also called the Saddha Jāṇussoṇi Sutta, A10 .177, and the second one is Tirokuta Sutta. Now, in this first sutta, you see, in the old version of this sutta, the word Saddha is there, Saddha. It's not Saddha, okay? It's the last vowel is not long, it's simply Saddha, okay? In fact, it's in the third line of you can see on the screen. This Saddha is from the Indian word Shraddha, okay, meaning ancestor worship. Okay, so it's a very specific term for this occasion. All right, Dasaka here means tens, 1 to 10, a 10, because there are 10 points here, which the Buddha will talk about. Now, since we are doing two suttas, I'll go straight into the suttas. This sutta talks about whether what the offering that we make, who can receive it and how can they receive it, so to speak. Okay, so the main person here is Jāṇussoni. He's a brahmin. He's a very devoted follower of the Buddha. He will come to the Buddha and ask all kinds of questions, lots of questions, and so this is one of them. Okay, let's look at section 1. This is the translation itself. My notes are on page 38. I'm not sure if yours is the same. With the heading Dasaka Jāṇussoni Sutta, the tense Discourse to Janussoni, and so on. And then you can see brackets 269. That refers to the page. No? It's further down. For the notes on the screen should be further down until you can see the subtitle again. The big title across the page. Some more. Further down. Further down, yeah. Some more. Lots more, yeah. You will see the title again. You're coming to it, yes. Okay, there you are. Okay, so section 1. Then the Brahmin Janussoni approached the Blessed One, and having gone up to the Blessed One, exchanged courtesies with him. And having exchanged courtesies, he sat down at one side. Sitting thus at one side, the Brahmin Janussoni said this to the Blessed One. Okay, so this is the question. Okay, Master Gotama, we are Brahmins. We make offerings. We worship ancestors, saying, may this giving accrue unto our relatives and blood relations. May our departed relatives and blood relations partake of this giving. Now this is very interesting, because here we have this Brahmin who in a way still follows his traditional brahminical practices. So he's asking the Buddha, does this work? Right? Now then he continues, surely, Master Gotama, this giving accrues unto our relatives and blood relations. Surely the departed relatives and blood relations partake of this giving. All right? So that's the question. Notice here he says surely, so he's hoping that the Buddha would answer favorably. Okay. Now, in fact, the Buddha is going to say no to many of those beings. these humans are reborn in many states, they won't be getting it. There's only one stage where they will be able to receive the offerings that we make. So the Buddha replies, 1.4, the Buddha replies, in the right place, Brahmin. They accrue, not in the wrong place. Okay. Now there's a bit of difficulty in translation here. In the note 40, you can see the Pali word is thane. The Pali word is at the bottom. Thane can translate as place. Thane can translate as possible. Okay, so you can also say it is possible, Brahmin. They accrue. Okay, not impossible. Okay, that's another way of translating. But it doesn't matter. Important you get the idea that it is possible. So then Janussoni asks, okay, can you tell me what is the occasion when they can receive it? Now the Buddha starts with the first answer. You can see the round brackets 1. Okay. Here, Brahmin, a certain person, is one who takes life. Now notice the Pali word is panatipati, not panatipata. Panatipata is the noun, taking life. Panatipati means one who takes life. One who takes the not given. One who indulges in sexual misconduct. Now these 3 you are very familiar with. They are the first 3 precepts. These first 3, they concern the body. They are body-based actions. Okay. Then 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. As an extension of the next precept, the 4th precept on speech. One who speaks false speech, one who speaks divisive speech, one who utters harsh speech, one who utters frivolous talk. So these are 4 wrong ways of speech. Okay. Then 8, 9, 10 refers to the mind, mental actions. One who is covetous, that means when he sees what other people have, he feels greedy, wants it. One who is malevolent, bad-hearted. One who has false views. Alright, so these last 3 are wrong views of the mind. So you have body, speech, and mind. These are the 3 doors of karma, and these are the 10 causes of unwholesome karma. This is something like the 10 karmic precepts, if you like. These are 10 things you have to practice. They're not very easy, right? Especially the last 3. So the Buddha begins by teaches us to begin by practicing the 5 precepts, which are much easier. The 5 precepts deal mostly with our speech and our action. Okay, 2 doors of the karma. So here the Buddha is saying, okay, this first person, he doesn't keep any of those 10 karmic precepts. Okay? He commits all the wrong things in terms of karma, so he creates lots of bad karma for himself. Then next the Buddha says, with the body's breaking up after death, he arises in hell, the suffering states in other words. There he is sustained by food taken by hell beings, and so he remains there. For Brahmin, while he remains there, it is not the place, or it is not possible, where the giving would accrue to him. So hell beings would not be able to get whatever we offer from here. It's obvious because they are in a suffering state. And they can't take the kind of food we take anyway. I mean, look, for example, birds can't eat the way we eat, right? I mean, most other animals cannot take the kind of food we take, and vice versa, we can't normally take the kind of food that animals take. Alright, so this is the first kind of being, the hell beings. They can't receive any offerings that we send them. Now, the whole section repeats itself, so to save time, I'm not going to read everything again. You have the 10 causes of bad karma again. The Buddha says, though, that the certain person practices this 10 bad karma. They break these 10 karmic precepts. So when they die, if you look at somewhere in the middle there, after number 3, he arises in the animal womb. You can see the animal womb highlighted in bold print, right? So he's born as an animal, right? There he is sustained by food taken by animals. So he remains there. For Brahmin, while he remains there, it is not a place where the giving would accrue to him. Okay, so you can't offer the food to animals, meaning here animals elsewhere. Of course, you can give food to your dogs and cats and pets, right? But that's not, well, in a sense, it's an offering, but it's not a prayer. You are giving them food all the time. That's something else. Okay, here we're talking about where it's given in a kind of like a ritual, like a prayer. So if they're reborn as animals somewhere far away, maybe in Africa or somewhere, they won't be able to get it for the simple reason because of the distance. All right, so this is a second kind of person. Now, the third kind of person, again, this person doesn't keep the 10 karmic precepts. His body, speech, and mind are unwholesome. So when he dies, he becomes a human being. Okay, now human being is very interesting. Now the problem is, it's a big world, and we do not know who is reborn as, even as a human being. So again, here the Buddha says it's not possible for a human being to receive the offerings that we make for the simple reason this human being is elsewhere. Maybe he's just born as a baby, and then he's elsewhere, so he's not able to receive the offerings that we offer. Okay, now we come to the next one. Okay, the fourth kind of person. Now this person is different. Now, okay, I made a slight mistake just now. These human beings abstain from taking life. He abstains from taking the not given, abstains from sexual misconduct, abstains from false speech, abstains from divisive speech, abstains from harsh speech, abstains from frivolous talk, and one who is not covetous, who is not malevolent, who has right views. Okay, so this being or this person keeps to these 10 karmic precepts. The 3 doors of action are wholesome. Body, speech, and mind are wholesome. So this person is reborn as a human being, but we cannot send our offerings to other humans, so to speak. Okay. Now we come to the fourth one. Okay. Again, this fourth person or fourth being, again, keeps all the 10 karmic precepts. Okay. Not killing, not stealing, and so on. All the 10 karmic precepts are kept. So this person, this human is born as a devas. He's born among the devas. Now we all know very well that devas, they are happy beings and that their food is superior, and they would not take the kind of food we take. All right. So the offerings that we give to them, if they are devas, will not, go to them, and they would not be able to take it. They wouldn't want to take it anyway. Here's where I remember this very interesting story. It's a real situation. When I was a monk decades ago, and I always have cats wherever I live. So whenever I meditate, this cat will come and sit with me, sit in my lap actually. Then one day, this really lovely, very intelligent cat, when you love them, they become intelligent and they do interesting things. One day this cat came to me with a rat. He caught a rat, so he came to me and it just dropped the rat right at my foot. And it looked up at me. It has offered me a rat. So, of course, I tell this wonderful cat, I said, I think your sentiments is noted. You're a little dana, but we humans don't take rats. So there you are. You can see when humans offer to the gods will say, wow, we can't take all this stuff. There's another story here where there was a Brahma devotee, a woman who worships Brahma. She regularly makes offerings to Brahma. And he has a son called Brahmadeva, who is an arahat. And he doesn't believe in his son. He's not a Buddhist. So Brahma one day decides to teach her a lesson. Brahma appears to her and tells her, said, oh, my good woman, you've been offering all this human food to me. We don't take this sort of thing. We can't take this sort of food. However, if you offer this food to your own son, who is an arahat, you will gain such great benefits, such great merits. Right? So there you are. It's a beautiful story about right giving. Okay. So here the Buddha is saying, only at the right place that this being will receive it, and only one kind of being can receive this. And this is the next section. Now, so section 6. All right, 6. Here, brackets 5. So here again, Brahmin, a certain person, is one who takes life, who takes the not given, who indulges in sexual misconduct, in other words, breaks the 10 karmic precepts, creates bad karma. So this person is reborn in the realm of the departed. Now there's a bit of problem of translation here. 6.2. With the body's breaking up after death, he arises in the realm of the departed. Okay, here is where we must, when we study the suttas, we have this good idea on how words are used. We know the word for what we popularly call hungry ghost is peta. Peta is Pali, preta is Sanskrit. Okay, and I use it as an anglicized term in my translations, preta. Okay, I use peta because it's less troublesome that way, from what I'm going to explain. The word preta, or the peta, if you like, the concept has changed from the Buddha's time through the centuries as Buddhism spread overseas up to our time. Okay, so this is the oldest meaning of the word peta. It means simply the departed. The departed. Okay, and if you look at Pali, it comes from pa plus ita. Ita means to cross over, departed. Okay, someone who has passed away. Right. Now, what's interesting here is the Buddha is talking about a special group of departed. The Brahmins, there were no Hindus in the Buddha's time, by the way, historically speaking. There were the Brahmins and the various other worshippers of village deities and so on. So these Brahmins, they have this idea that their fathers, they normally think of the father, but they don't tell us much about what happens to the women in the family. So the father dies and he's kind of stuck halfway, like a limbo. He doesn't go to heaven. So only when the son prays for him, that prayer, as it were, releases this limbo being, and he goes to heaven, to the devas as conceived by the Brahmins. So the Buddha didn't go into details here. Okay, so he's kind of giving a progressive teaching to Jāṇussoni. So here, the Buddha is quite contented to use the word peta or preta as what Janussoni is familiar with. So here he's using a word already familiar with the times. So it means the departed. That's all it means. Okay. So here the Buddha says, okay, if these beings are born in this realm of the departed, then whatever friends, companions, relatives, or blood relations offer will be able to reach him. So that's a very general statement. Okay. No details are given yet. The details will come in the next sutta, right? So here, look at 6.2. With the body's breaking up after death, he arises in the realm of the departed, and there he is sustained with the food taken by the departed beings. So he remains there. But whatever friends, companions, relatives, or blood relations offer, here sustains him there. By that offering, he remains there. For Brahmin, while he remains there, it is a place where it is possible that the giving would accrue to him. Okay? Okay, this is a very general statement the Buddha has answered to this Brahmin. He has not given any details. But later, for us, for our benefit, because we do follow the Buddha's teaching, the Buddha gives another long teaching which we'll come to in a moment. But the sutta is still only halfway. Alright, so this Brahmin is very happy. So he asked the Buddha another question. Section 7. Okay, further down to section 7. Right. So suppose, Master Gautama, that the departed relatives or blood relation does not arise there, who would partake of the offering? Right? Suppose I have no relative there. This relative I'm thinking of is not reborn there. The Buddha said, then Brahmin, other departed relatives or blood relations who have a reason there would partake of that offering instead of be another person. Then he asks another question. He says, what if I have no relatives at all who are there, right? So the Buddha says that is impossible. Okay, the Buddha says that there always be some departed, some preta in the realm. Why? It's quite simple, really. If you look at how long samsara is, we have relatives. We are interrelated to everyone who's gathered here. The fact that we are gathered together to study the sutta together here shows that we have some kind of past connection. We have been related to each other. We have been mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, and so on, to one another. This is what the Samyutta Nikaya says, right? So we have so many relatives and friends also included, by the way, that there are always these pretas or petas or departed ones in that realm, in the realm of the departed. So that realm is never empty of pretas. So of course the Brahmin is very happy, and the Buddha says, well, whatever you offer, they will get. The reason is this, number 9. For indeed, Brahmin, the giver is never fruitless. So the two meanings here. One is the Buddha is saying, whatever you give, they will get it. But there's a second meaning, that the giver also benefits. Now, so the Buddha has thought about something impossible. In other words, it's impossible that, there are no departed ones in that realm. He asked the Buddha, number 10, section 10, has Master Gautama any idea regarding the impossible? Can you tell me more about things which are impossible in this connection? The Buddha replies, Brahmin, I do have an idea regarding the impossible. So now the Buddha comes to a new series of teachings. So he says, basically in the next section, the Buddha is saying, what if someone does a lot of so-called good deeds, he's even kind, or does social work, but doesn't keep the precepts. He's not moral, but he shows himself to be generous and kind, but doesn't keep the precepts, right? So that's the question. All right, so the Buddha starts. 11, he says, here, Brahmin, a certain person is one who takes life, one who takes the not given, one who indulges in sexual misconduct, one who speaks false speech, one who speaks divisive speech, one who utters harsh speech, one who utters frivolous talk, one who is covetous, one who is malevolent, one who has false view, right? So one who habitually does the 10 bad karmic acts. But look at section 12. But he is a giver of food, drink, cloth, vehicle, garlands, scents, ointments, bed, dwelling, and lights to an ascetic or a Brahmin. Right? So he gives to holy man all these things as offerings. Right? So people offer things, but they don't keep the precepts. All right. So what happens in this case? With the bodies breaking up, after death, he arises in the company of elephants. Notice the elephants is highlighted, a bold print. Why is he reborn as an elephant? Because he didn't keep the precepts. Now remember, the 5 precepts, right? The 10 wholesome karma are kind of condensed, if you like, in the 5 precepts, right? The 5 precepts doesn't have the last 3. The last 3 has to be done with meditation also. But the basic idea is there. So if you keep the 5 precepts mindfully, then you will never fall below the human state. So the 5 precepts are the humanizing factor in our life, the quality control in our humanity, if you like, in that sense. So if you do not keep the precepts, and breaking the 10 karmic precepts is even worse, you'll be reborn as an animal. But since this person is a giver, he has given all these wonderful things, drinks, food, and so on, flowers and garlands, he will get all this back. So he'll be a well taken care of elephant. So in India, as you know, elephants are well loved. Alright, so section 14. But since he is a giver of alms to an ascetic or brahmin, he would there be a recipient of food, drinks, garlands, and various adornments. So be a well cared for elephant. Alright. Now then, there's another second kind of person, section 15. Here, Brahmin, a certain person takes life, takes a not given, and so on, breaks all the 10 karmic precepts. But he's a giver of food, he is generous, he's kind. So what happens to this person? Actually, this person is the same as a previous person, same kind of action, negative karma. So this person doesn't keep the precepts, but he's generous, he's kind. So he's born among the horses. And there he would be a recipient of food, drinks, garlands, and various adornments. Now we all know human beings love horses, we take good care of horses too. So if you don't keep the precepts, you're kind, you'll be reborn as a horse. And someone will, and you'll get back all the good deeds you have done, but you won't be a human being, unfortunately. And next is third example is another person who doesn't keep the precepts, who habitually creates bad karma, but he's a generous giver, he's kind, he does social work, if you like. He'll be reborn as a cow. On passing away, he's reborn in the company of cows. And as you know, cows are also very well respected in India. In the Buddha's time, cows are regarded as wealth, actually. Right, so there you are, okay? Then next, again, this person breaks the 10 karmic precepts, taking life and so on. Now this is not so good. This is section 24, right? So here is the second paragraph. With the bodies breaking up after death, he will arise in the company of chickens. There he would be a recipient of food, drink, garlands, and various adornments. Well, I suppose in India they keep chickens as pets, but we don't here, so it's not really a good rebirth actually. But basically, the idea here is you do good, you'll get back the good, but you don't keep the precepts, too bad. Then you lose your human state. All right. So then we come to a new situation: good rebirth, good treatment. Okay. Now look at section 28. So this person, now we come to a new situation where this person keeps all the 10 karmic precepts. He abstains from taking life, abstains from taking the not given, and so on. Or at least the 5 precepts, okay? 28. And he is a giver of food, drink, cloth, vehicle, garland, scents, ointment, bed, dwelling, and lights to an ascetic or brahmin. With the bodies breaking up after death, he will arise in the company of human beings. There he would enjoy the chords of human sensual pleasures. The 5 chords, in other words, the joy of seeing, he sees beautiful things, he hears beautiful things, smells beautiful perfume, tastes nice food, feel the weather will be good, and so on, things like that. All right. So all the 5 senses. So these are sensual pleasures, right? So he'll be enjoying all this wonderful life, basically, as a human being, because he has been morally virtuous, he keeps a precept as well as does good deeds. On the other hand, if this is taken a step higher, you find this person maybe keeps a precept even more seriously, and also is a giver, all right? Then look at 32. 32, he keeps the precepts, and he is a giver of food, drink, cloth, vehicle, garland, scents, ointments, bed, dwelling, and lights to an ascetic or a brahmin. Then when he passes away, he will arise in the company of devas. He will enjoy the 5 chords of divine sensual pleasures. Now there's a hint here which probably Janussoni did notice. The 5 chords of divine sensual pleasures. In other words, he only be reborn in the sensual world anyway, still in the sensual world, the world of the senses. In other words, the not very high heaven, okay, it's the 6 heavens of the sense world. For example, Tawatingsa and so on, all right? So he will enjoy, it will look beautiful, enjoy good heavenly food, and so on, right? Because he has abstained from all the bad karmic precepts, and he is also generous. There you are. So the Buddha says all this happens because the giver is never fruitless. Section 35. For indeed, Brahmin, the giver is never fruitless. Then, in section 36, 37 is the usual ending. His marvelous Master Gotama is wonderful Master Gotama. Right, so this Janussoni is one of the few followers of the Buddha who has taken refuge many, many times, over a dozen times. So this is one of those times where he takes refuge again. He's very happy with what the Buddha has taught. So this is the first sutta where the Buddha talks about the nature of the departed. Now we'll go on to the second sutta. Okay, we'll just take a bit of time. Shall we have a break, or shall we continue with the sutta? Yes, Wendy? Or
yeah, maybe you want to take a 5 minutes break?
Okay,
No?
Sure, we'll take a break now.